Welcome back to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that this video finds you well wherever you are. Where are you watching us from? In Kenya, we are fine, but the political situation here is becoming very precarious by every second. Barely a few days after the Azimio led by Raila Odinga held their mass action on Monday, the ripple effect is felt within the country and without the country. Already, the capital city's Nairobi governor, Johnson Sakaja, said that he was not able to collect sufficient revenue. The collection went below target. I think he collected just a quarter. Our Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, who happens to be at the center of this quagmire, at the center of this political altercation, confessed that they lost, just day one, Kenya lost 2 billion Kenya shillings. But Association of Manufacturers are saying that it goes beyond 2. It's about 2.7 billions, rounded off to 3 billion Kenya shillings. And that is just day one. The other day, Uganda cried foul and they said that the Busia border, the border between Uganda and Kenya, was really affected because traders avoided that route and they avoided the border. There were lots and lots of trucks that were stuck on their path because business in Kenya came to a standstill. Remember, Uganda is landlocked. They depend entirely on Kenya because when goods land at the Mombasa port, that is when they are ferried to Uganda. So they continue to feel it. That is not enough. Information that is reaching our desk shows that even in Tanzania, they have started feeling the heat because the Kenya-Tanzania border is Namanga, and it is also reported that there was a lot of tension there. Traders avoided. Or let me just read what is reported. The headline there is Raila's declaration causes anxiety and tension in Tanzania. The declaration here is that Raila had mentioned that we will continue, or his supporters shall continue the demonstrations, but now twice in a week. And this is causing a lot of anxiety. Why? Let me just read very fast. The Tanzanian officials on Wednesday, March 22nd, expressed concerns over growing tensions in Kenya due to the Azimio la Umoja anti-government protests. It goes on to explain that officials at the Namanga border lamented that Azimio la Umoja protests had spillover effects to the neighboring country, Tanzania. Cross-border services were grounded for the better part of Monday, March 20th, when anti-government mass action took place in Nairobi and other parts of the country. It was reported that a number of trucks, just look at that, it was reported that a number of trucks formed files at the borders and could not be cleared to cross into Kenya due to the protests. So the trucks that were on the Tanzania border could not cross over when people are on their mass action. There were no lorries loaded with goods across the border. There was tension on the Kenyan side, noted Ismail Abdi, who is the Tanzanian Freight Forwarders Association chairman at Namanga. So that is what is happening, ladies and gentlemen. The spillover effects have now gone beyond Kenya. Already the Ugandans have felt it. Tanzania feels it, and we had indicated earlier that the ripple effect would go further, because remember, some of these trucks always go beyond Uganda to Burundi, Rwanda, and even Congo. They are long distance trucks. So this tells you that when Raila continues with these demonstrations, then it is going to have an economic effect to not only East Africa, but it can even go beyond East Africa to the whole of Africa, because I told you that we are an intertwined world. The global is very small. So the information is that the Tanzanian government led by Samia Suluhu is already looking for ways, and I understand that she had called Raila Amolo Odinga to try and talk him to see if there is an amicable solution that can be reached, because we are just a few years past the corona pandemic, and you all know that corona ravaged the economy of most countries, especially in Africa. We are trying to resuscitate. We are trying to recover. And then the war between Russia and Ukraine has also not made it any better, just aggravated the situation. So any kind of demonstrations that will paralyze the economy is really going to mess up many countries. And this is why Suluhu Hassan is looking for Raila Amolo Odinga. In Uganda, there are efforts to try and reach Raila Amolo Odinga. And in fact, this issue will get at the center of the EALA, East African Legislative Assembly, because it's now beyond Kenya. But the question that many are asking is, why is it that our government, led by President William Samoei Ruto, does not feel like they need to have an amicable solution? They keep on chest thumping. And every day you realize that they want to aggravate the situation. They don't look like people who want a truce. Yesterday, they wrote a letter to the diplomatic mission in Kenya, requesting them to declare Raila Amolo Odinga persona non grata and the Azimio fraternity. Of course, Raila wrote another counter letter. Then we hear of leaked assassination messages where Kimani Ichung'wah is saying that they should even arrest Raila Amolo Odinga and the former President Uhuru Kenyatta, because they feel that is the only way. They just want to fuel tension. Today, we understand that the government, through the Communications Authority of Kenya Director, Mr. Chiloba, wrote a letter to the media stations, 6 media stations, which covered that demonstrations, and they are threatening to shut them down. So the kind of solutions, how the kind of reaction from the government tells you that either they are not ready to solve the situation, or the people who are advising them are just should be overhauled so that we have an amicable solution. There's going to be continued loss, and it's going to affect us. But let me tell you something. Raila Amolo Odinga is talking of issues that are beyond him. He talks about the cost of living that is just beyond the common man. The situation is too dire. People are going without food. School fees has just become hard to come by. Our animals are dying and our rivers are drying up. If you see the nomads fighting every now and then, they are fighting for the scarce resources, pasture and water. Electoral injustice is one thing that if Raila abandons today, then we can as well forget the 2027 elections, because already we can see the signs and symptoms that they want to control the IEBC. And of course, Raila is talking about the appointments into offices of only 2 tribes. Do you know that I have never seen a shameless government like the one that we have today? I know Moi used to practice tribalism. Mwai Kibaki did it, and even Uhuru Kenyatta, most of the members from their community were appointed into offices, despite the fact that Kenya has got more than 41 tribes. But never did we hear them coming in the open and in public declaring that the government is a limited company that belongs to them. Our deputy president came out saying that the government is a limited company, and those who voted for them have got the shares. And Rigathi Gachagua has said that he's got no apologies to make on this. Anytime they go for prayers, he's got a list and is telling them that wacha niwaambie vile mlivuna kwa sababu mlipiga that. I know he gives out a list, and now he reads the names of those who have been appointed into government offices, telling them that this is how you harvested for voting for the Kenya Kwanza team. Raila has maintained that all Kenyans are taxpayers and they have equal right to equitable distribution of resources. They have the right to be appointed into offices. Because I remember one of was it a Catholic church bishop who was saying that if this is a Kenya Kwanza Limited company and there are those who have got the right to share the national cake and you want to exclude those who didn't vote for you, then tell us not to bother paying taxes. So things are very precarious. I don't know whether Suluhu will manage to talk to Raila, because Raila has got those irreducible minimums. He told the diplomatic mission in Kenya that they are not going to relent. And in fact, in his rebuttal, in his counter letter, he told them that they are not going to sit back and watch this illegitimate government continues to improve on mistakes, continue to tramp on Kenyans. I remember William Ruto, when he was campaigning, he said that his government was going to be that of hustlers, the common man, the ordinary mwananchi. What has sparked a lot of debate is the fact that today William Ruto presided over the swearing in of the CAS, the Chief Administrative Secretaries. A very unnecessary office, people are crying out. And he went beyond the number that is required. I understand that we should have, if at all, only 23. But William Ruto appointed 50 persons into the office of the Chief Administrative Secretaries. Among them are just rich men. We didn't see any hustler there. And it tells you that when he was campaigning, he knew that Kenyans are gullible and can easily be hoodwinked. We also hear very shocking news that they have approved over 8 billion shillings to buy vehicles and furnish offices of the Deputy President and the office of the Chief Minister and their spouses. When Kenyans are going without food, they even appeal to international community to give them food. It's unacceptable, and this is why Raila Amolo Odinga will score high when anyone sits with him on the table. Because when he will be called by Suluhu that my brother, kindly can you call off, Raila will tell them that I have got a reason. The one that is really a thorn in the flesh to the government is opening the server, because Raila has maintained that I won and I want you to open the server so that you can prove that I won. I don't think whether Raila will listen to anybody. He has defied the calls from the international community. He has defied the calls from African Union, and that is why they decided to terminate his contract as the African Union High Representative for Infrastructure. Now the East African community is also trying it. I don't know whether they are going to succeed, because even as they do, they must come with clean hands. If they try taking positions saying that, you know, William Ruto is the president and so Raila should not cripple the economy, things will not work. This is about the people. And even Museveni, Suluhu, all the East African or African countries, or even the European countries that want Raila to back down, it is not about Raila. Raila can afford very many meals in a day. Raila is rich. He can afford every luxury if he wants. It is the common man who is suffering. The predicaments of this that is coming from this government is just too much, and so the people have told him, we are moving. I'm really shocked that the president still continues to threaten that he will deal with the protesters, scathingly. Yet this is something that is entrenched in our community, in our constitution. So, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? Do you think Raila should listen to Madam Suluhu Hassan? What do you think is happening? What do you think they should do? Please share with me on the comment section.